Good morning, Miss Micah. How are you? You're good? Yeah, you got your little pink raincoat on.
Yeah.
I like that pink skirt. Is it raining outside or is it just a little chilly? Just a little chilly? Wait, how'd you do that? Did your hand for me? That's a little bit. Tell me a little bit. Yeah? Alright. Well, today's video is going to be about the meeting we had the other day at school. But I want to make sure they saw you. And you got to say hi to your friends. Bo's over here going crazy. What are you doing, Bo? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing over here, you big boy? He's ready to go outside. No, get out of there. Get out of there, you. That's the cat litter box. Buzz should be here. Ben should be here any second. All right. You have anything you want to say to your friends? No. You want to tell them have a good day, have a good week. Say happy Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Say bye bye. See you tomorrow. Hello to my dear friends. How are you? I just got home from Micah's IPP meeting. I should have looked so I could tell you exactly what that is. Individual personal plan, individual person plan, something like that. It used to be IEP, individual education plan. It's the exact same thing. This is Micah's annual meeting that we do every October, and then we meet in 6 months. So we meet twice a year. So it's semi-annual and annual. This was the annual meeting. So I took a page full of notes. If you watched, actually it would have been today's video. It's the same day that I'm videoing. If you would have watched Friday's video, October the 21st, I just briefly showed up this piece of paper with all my questions. Well, this is how I take notes. I took all my questions and I draw circles and I draw lines and I draw arrows and I just add all this stuff on here. So this was the result of our meeting today. So I just wanted to tell you some of the things that we talked about. We talked about communication. They are working with Micah. They have someone that's new as a client at the program, I think like in the last few months new, who works on sign language. Micah is interested in it, so they've been working with Micah, and I've heard off and on, that Micah is working on this sign language. She likes it. So today we talked about when Micah has a word that she likes, they're going to make a card, a sign language card. They're going to send it home, and then we know what words she's working on, she likes, she can do, and then we can do those same signs at home. So maybe we're going to increase Micah's sign language just a little bit, which will be really cool. We did talk about a communication device today. We talked about an iPad. I'm pretty sure Micah knew what we were talking about. I almost said, hey, and I started talking and I almost said the word iPad, and then I stopped myself. There were only 4 of us. It was me and Micah, service coordinator. The service coordinator works for the state. They're the ones that handle the paperwork. They don't handle the actual funding, but the program that Micah is in is funded by the government. It's a day program for special needs people. So he is a government employee, so he has to answer for what the program is doing with individuals that he is overseeing. So he is Micah's service coordinator. And he's always there. And then, which reminds me, we did not set up our semi-annual meeting. I'll have to call somebody on that. I'll have to call the service coordinator on that. And then it was the other lady who is now, I don't know, she's like a division. She used to be over the program that Mike is at now, and she got a big promotion, which is huge. She's fabulous. She's really good at what she does. She is a regional director, I think. Anyway, she was there. The girl that now runs she's been there for quite a long time, running right after Micah started going last year. The current girl that is there is a supervisor. Let's see, what is she? She's the manager of the building where Micah is. So there's a manager and then there's an assistant manager. She is on vacation and was not able to make today's meeting. So we went through everything, but we talked about communication, and they're working with Micah with communicating more. So we kind of talked without using the word iPad. somebody at the program has a really cool iPad that has a foam covering all the way around it so that it doesn't, it won't break, because we were just going to try to buy one for Micah for Christmas. And I was going to contact you, Michael. I thought about you last night. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, don't even remember how to spell it, but it's Michael C. And sometimes me and you talk. So if you see this video, I thought of you last night, and I thought I'm going to contact Michael to see if you could help me figure out what kind of iPad, or just any kind of iPad or whatever, you know, some kind of good deal. They're like $500 to get the newest, latest, greatest. Maybe we could just go a step down on that. But if we can get this one that Anne was talking about, it's a little bit bigger than a regular size iPad, but I guess it is an iPad, or it works like one, or something like that. She's going to contact the parents, find out what company it came from, then I can call them and look it up and see if that's something we can do. It might be crazy money, because insurance will not pay for this. They will pay for the big, bulky Dynavox that looks like a computer. They're just awful. They're not easy to press. Mike has never liked one. They're really hard to press down. They're just not easy to press, and there are just a lot of problems with it. You have to program the voice. You can program a male or a female, and they never really sound like a real person. Now, they've come a long way over the years, and the last one that she had, current one that she has, I haven't even heard. I don't even know if we have the cords for the current one that she has, but anyway. So we talked about communication. So they had those things that they were talking about, and then they just have to check off on whatever objectives that they have, or I don't know if they're even called objectives. They always change what they call names of things. But we talked about Micah's choking. We had a couple of months where we had several choking episodes at the program, and it just became like, it just felt like a fiasco. I couldn't fix the problem. I have taken more strides, honest, than I've ever taken in Micah's entire life to make sure that she does not choke when it comes to lunch. In my opinion, if we send something and we drop the ball at the house, then the program needs to pick up the ball, know how to feed her, and know how to properly cut up food so that Micah can eat it and not choke. Now, granted, Micah does choke sometimes on something that she eats at home with no problem, goes to the program and she chokes. Or she'll eat sometimes. She choked on something last night that I thought she had eaten before, and all of a sudden she's choking, and then she's done eating. But she'd already eaten her whole sandwich. It was these sweet potato chips. They're kind of crunchy, but they're super thin. Anyway, I thought she ate some of them last week and did just fine, but I don't know. William didn't remember. So sometimes she surprises us, but sometimes she's eating stuff fine at home, then going to the program. So we didn't talk today, but we've talked before as we try to figure out what's going on. Sometimes we think that she gets really excited at the program, or she gets upset, and so she shovels in her food, and then that will make her choke. Now, she does shovel in her food, you know, she goes like that when she is angry at home, but I wouldn't say she chokes when she's at home. But we'll just move her food away from her and, you know, not let her eat. I'm sure they do that at the program too. But if they're not, you know, watching her when she's, you know, if she's done this too many times, she could still choke. Anyway, we don't know exactly what she's doing when she chokes, or exactly what's happening with the program, not understanding that she has to have her food cut up small. So I put a big yellow note inside the lunchbox, and then I'm trying to catch. When Deb and Regina are here, it's no problem. When new girls come, I'm trying to make sure that I'm looking at the lunch, that I'm telling them what to take, that I am watching more, because we've just had so many problems with girls not knowing exactly what or how to send Micah's food. It's something that you just kind of have to learn. Now, I could just say, okay, let's just puree all of Micah's food, and then we wouldn't have this choking problem, because, you know, a choking problem could be a life or death issue, of course. Sometimes we do have to get Micah out of her chair. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had to do that with those chips, but we didn't have to do the Heimlich maneuver. We just got her out of her chair. Sometimes at the program they get her out of her chair. I've just been willing to take the chance, because Micah loves to eat, and it is one thing that she can do by herself is to eat her own food. So we just kind of work with it and go with it. So anyway, we talked through, not that whole conversation, but we talked about that the program knows just cut up Micah's food if it doesn't come quite right. And then I'm doing my very best on this end to try to make sure that works. It's just never been such a big problem before. Okay, coming home completely dirty. You know, her face is dirty. She comes in with food on her clothes. Her hands are dirty every day. They do not have a sink in this kitchen where the program is. So I inquired about that today. I'm like, that's really unsanitary. You know, this is what I said. You know that when you are in a kitchen, you are constantly putting your hands underneath running water. If you do not have a sink in your kitchen, you are not doing that. There's hand sanitizer in there. It's not quite the same thing if you're talking about food and germs and a lot of different people that you're handling. It's not just yourself that you are feeding, but you know, you have all of these staff helping all of these clients. The bathroom is right, the girls' bathroom is right on the other side of this kitchen. It would be like so easy to put a kitchen into this kitchen, but they do not have one, and they're not looking at getting one, and they can't get one. So I asked, as a parent, can I make a phone call to somebody about this? So Anne said that she would call, I don't know, the higher ups, the CEO and somebody else in the day program, mention it again, but she's probably going to get a no. She would let me know what they said. Apparently the owner of the building doesn't want to put a sink in. I just don't, well, I can understand him not wanting to put a sink in that room if he's renting out. This is like an industrial area where this day program is. So the program itself is in a strip center, like a strip mall, but it's all industrial. So these are all businesses. So he doesn't want to put a sink in there because if ILC ever decides to leave, then all of a sudden he's left with office space, which people are putting computers and stuff in, and they don't necessarily want a sink. I don't really think it's a big deal to take a sink out. I mean, you just take a sink out, put a new piece of sheetrock up, and you're kind of done. Put some paint on it. To me, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm not a plumber, but I know this much to know that it's just not that big of a deal. I think somebody can make this happen, so I'm going to see what can be done to get a sink put into that kitchen because it's not sanitary. So that was what I asked. So we've had a little trouble with the amount of food. I guess this is the first time I heard. I guess the other day Micah had a massive amount of food. I'm guessing that a CNA came and sent something that we had in a container, but it wasn't really meant to be maybe Micah's lunch or a lunch. It was just a bunch of food we put in one of those little Glad containers, little plastic containers with the red lids on them. I don't know. Every day I'm not getting something specifically packed and putting her name on it, but I am getting stuff into containers, and the refrigerator looks all nice and neat and clean. You can open it up, look and see what's in there, and it's just still not working because I'm not doing it all. And if I'm not doing it all, it just doesn't work quite right. Okay, so we talked about her coming home wet. Now she hasn't been coming home really soaked all the way through in a little while, but we had a little stretch where it kept happening, and I was so mad, and we were going to have a meeting. That's when I had that migraine for 9 weeks that just went off the chart, wasn't coming down, and I just couldn't go to a meeting. So we didn't have it, so I just brought it up today. She was pretty wet yesterday, all the way through the liner, the brief, all the way through to the pull-up. Hello. Hi. That's Reagan getting home from school. Today's Friday, so he's not going to Metro, but generally he would go to school, come home, and then go to Metro Community College. So she was wet through her liner, her brief, and her pull-up, but not all the way through to the wheelchair where we had to take the cover off and change it, that kind of thing. I'm not understanding if they took her to the bathroom at 2:30, why she's that wet by 4. It's just not that much time. It doesn't generally happen here at the house on the weekend, or if she's not at her program. They're not giving her a lot to drink, and I ask about a lot to drink. Me feeling like she gets enough to drink at her program is a problem, and I don't know, they insist that they give her drinks, you know, well, we can write down how much we give her, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to have you do that because, number one, I don't think it'll get done. Number two, you're just placating me. I don't want you to do that. So, I don't know. just have these same problems, and maybe they can't be fixed. I don't know. So I'm going to get Micah a water bottle, which she doesn't have, and then in the afternoon when she goes to a job site, she can drink her water bottle while she's there. I have to figure out, though, the best one to give her, because straws are really hard for Micah to drink out of. It's really hard for her to get the drink all the way up the straw. So cups that have straws in them are really hard. Well, then you've got the ones where you just tip them up and you drink. Maybe she can get used to that. I don't know. So we have to figure out what the best kind of cup is for Micah. So I'm going to do that and see if we can get... Oh, the reason for that, not because if she came home wet, you would think they gave her a lot. But what we're finding is, yesterday was an example, but it's happened a lot. She came home and she's immediately thirsty. Drink one. Give me some more. Drink two. She had 4 drinks. Drink, 4 in a row. She was so thirsty. So I just can't figure out what's going on. They insist they take her to the bathroom. She stays in there for 15 minutes. She's not going. That part doesn't make... What is the biggest puzzle here? She's been in this program for over a year. For an entire year, this has not been a problem. She came home dry every day, and then it's become a problem in the last few months. So who knows what's going on. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I mentioned direct deposit in today's video. They do not do direct deposit. That was her last program, so I must have asked the last time and they told me no. And I was thinking that I asked and forgot to get the slip. So Micah gets paid every 2 weeks unless she's choosing things that are volunteer. So they choose places to go in the morning and the afternoon, but the places they choose might be places that are volunteer, so she doesn't always get a check, because sometimes I'm thinking, wow, she hasn't had a check in like a month. That would be because she chose volunteer places instead of places that she would actually be getting paid. So I think that's about the gist. I think that's about everything that I have here on my sheet. I just wanted to go over with you just so you would know the kind of things that we talk about. So any problems that they might have. So they asked me at the end of the meeting. We always have a shirt in Micah's backpack in case they need to change it, but apparently we've not had a skirt in there for a while. She's supposed to have like an entire change of clothes in case she needs to change, which frequently she does. But I told them, I said, if she's just a little bit wet on her skirt, they were talking about like the front of her skirt getting dirty. I'm like, it's not a big deal. They said, well, sometimes it's her food coming down and making her really dirty. She needs to change. So we're going to make sure that we get the that food. Get an entire outfit in her backpack for the program so that they can change her. And I think I already mentioned about her aprons. Oh my goodness. Coming home with food on her that just makes me livid that she comes home with food on her clothes. She has an apron goes in her lunchbox. If it gets forgotten, we now have an apron in her backpack, an apron in the locker that she has at the program. But Ann told me today that they now have aprons at the program. I mentioned that like a long time ago. Why can't you guys just have your own aprons? And she said that she told staff to go get them a long time ago, and they didn't. So I guess when this last go round, when I made a big deal about it, they went out and got them. I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense to me that you just can't keep somebody clean. I know that there are a lot of people there, but I don't, it's just one thing that I don't get. I just don't get it. Just make sure she comes home as if you've taken care of her all day. She comes home with her hands clean and dirty and sticky, and her face is all dirty. So while I was telling them this today, I thought of something, and I said, this could be coming from, they're supposed to be brushing her teeth after lunch, and they don't. And we've talked about it, and I know that they don't. I'll ask them, oh yeah, we brush her teeth, and I know they don't brush her teeth. So they are going to start brushing her teeth, I guess I'll follow up on it. And if they do that, because she drools so much and puts her hands across her mouth, because what happens is she gets like this little beard right here, and it's from, going like this. And it's not because her face is not wiped off, it's just, somehow doing this just creates this whole little beard here. So if they brush her teeth, it might help with that, but they also need to use soap when they take her to the bathroom and wash her hands. Maybe they can wash her hands, you know, between 2:30 and, you know, whatever. Just during the day, use the hand sanitizer and wash her hands. Just keep her clean. Let's see, what else is on here? We have, I think that is all that we talked about. Okay, so the rest of today, I had to make out a schedule for today because it was going to be so busy, but I was able to take care of one of my errands while I was out because I thought I was going to have to come home, go back out at 2, and then go back out at 3:15 to go pick up Bronson, but I was able to take care of the one errand while I was already out with Bronson. So we have the Spanish ministry is coming over tonight. Me and William go on Wednesday night. We go up there with them on Sunday morning, and they're coming over to the house. Going to have authentic Mexican food. It's going to be really, really good. And I'm looking around the house, and it does not look like a place that is ready to have company. So I made this big, giant list. So let's see. So I wrote down all the stuff that we're going to eat. I wrote down all the stuff that I have to clean. And I haven't done a thing. I'm late on my video. I got to the program for the meeting this morning, and I realized, oh no, I didn't load my video up into YouTube. I was trying to video. I was trying to get ready to go, and then I talked to a friend I hadn't talked to in a long time, and anyway, I was just all thrown off, and I didn't have that much time. So it is loading up right now, Friday's video. So, and then I wrote down some things I had to do. So I am really busy today, but I feel good enough. I tried not to do too much this week. I didn't feel like doing too much anyway, but I didn't like try to push myself to do too much. And so now I guess I have to get off of here, and I'm going to cook a little bit. And I'm ready to just sit down, but I'm kind of jazzed and I'm excited, but I'm kind of ready to sit down and rest for just a minute. But we're going to have a really, really good time. They're going to come at 6 o'clock tonight, and I'll video for you. So you have yourself a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.